Hello there folks, I'm Dan Brown from a sort of interestinglife.com. You're joining me on board good old Narrowboat Tilly, and today you're joining me for the Random Sunday Chat. And today's topic is a little bit out there and non-specific and non-definitive, as it's not a particular event or thing, as I did have a few different ideas of what I wanted to record today's video on. The front runner of those ideas was the old days of my life when I used to sell Star Wars figures on eBay for a living, which we'll get to in a future Sunday Chat video, but it's basically exactly what it sounds like. But the reason that I've chosen to go away from a proper sort of set topic today is, as some of you may know, recently, in the last couple of days, it was my 28th birthday, which is genuinely terrifying. I can't believe that I'm 28. And as many people think that I'm joking when I say this, and I am to a certain extent, but I do actually I have started feeling a lot older and not as fit as I was and things like that over the last couple of years. But anyway, that's what we'll get to later on. But the real sort of theme of this video is getting older but not growing up. And what's really inspired that choice today is that today in particular, Tilly is now moored up by the Frankton Locks, which some of you may know from my previous videos. Don't worry if not, as we'll be going down through them in the next couple of days, and then down the absolutely wonderful, well, hopefully in a few days' time, we'll be about 7 miles or so in that direction. And it's just a fantastic canal, the Montgomery Canal, but we'll get to that later on in these videos. And really, this is an area that, again, I've absolutely loved, and the Montgomery Canal really does come to the absolute closest to my hometown of Oswestry. Then it comes closer by literally miles than anywhere else on the canal. And so because of that, there's places along there that for many, many, many years before I ever even dreamed of a boat, I've been down there on my bike and all the rest of it. And it's just a place that I do absolutely love. And that sort of brings back all those memories and the sort of, the old days, and look how different it is now, and who'd have ever thought that I'd be going down there with a boat, and all of these sorts of things and thoughts, and thinking about how it was back then and how simple life was and all the sort of stereotypical things. But one of the things that really made me want to talk about this today is, apart from my birthday and the memories and all that sort of stuff, as I was walking around just the fields and cutting around, which we'll have a separate video of just a proper nice little boaty walk of 20-30 minutes or so very soon online. Anyway, getting back on track. As I've said, it was perfect weather for these last couple of weeks, and it sort of has again acted as a contrast between me and other people of my own age, where a lot of my friends now, it's difficult to meet up a lot of the time with, because they work on nights and things like that, or have other commitments, because basically they've actually grown up and are living adult grown-up lives, where I seem to have completely failed to grasp that. And when I actually look at it, and it's what people give me grief about on the internet and stuff, of, oh, you're not a real person, grow up and all that sort of stuff. But it's like, sort of unintentionally, as the side effect of the whole boat idea. It's like I've said in the past, being incredibly lucky to have the boat idea before I had a mortgage or anything tying me down that I couldn't afford to just go and try and live a low-cost lifestyle. It's like the whole boat thing wasn't ever about living on a boat. It was about trying to preserve and prolong the amount of time of my life that I could enjoy having loads of free time without being at work all the time, so I could do all this going out biking and walking and writing and so on, because writing, yeah, that's definitely the best career decision I've ever made. I'm happy that people read my books, but don't worry, I'm not going to be retiring and disappearing down the canal anytime soon, let's say that much. But in all seriousness, I do love me writing, as many people know from just my collection of notebooks and diaries and things alone. But ultimately, though, it's that sort of contrast of there's people of my own age and younger who've actually sort of started living real adult grown-up lives, where now I'm starting to see that and think, God, you know what, I'm going to be 30 very soon, and I'm still lucky enough in many ways to not have grown up But also, I don't know what's going to happen when the real moment comes that I am forced to grow up, which will surely occur when I have to do proper, responsible adult things for some reason. And, well, it's like I've said in the past with when I first bought the boat, because I sort of lived such a sheltered life, and I'm completely honest when I say these things. I'm not going to try and go, oh yeah, I was raised on the streets and I was out there, like, making it and, I don't know, doing bad things. But because I'd never had to sort of deal with proper problems and things of just basic, like, sort of running a home and general sort of grown-up things again, there was a lot of things, particularly minor things with the boat and problems with the engine and stuff like that, that I was just panicking and wildly frantic and terrified by, because I'd never had to deal with those sorts of things ever before in my life, or even anything particularly serious, without having all sorts of friends and family around me to go, don't worry, you've got a huge backup of people here who will look after you. And suddenly to have that start to like be peeled back, it was like, oh my goodness me, I'm scared of everything. And to this day, there's still things that are completely normal and people do every day in their millions that I'm like, oh man, whew, this is grown up for me. And I feel as if there's the age of 28 seems completely alien to where I am in here sometimes, a lot of the time. But I don't know, like, as you're probably gathering, this video is literally just me saying anything that's coming out to my head at that particular moment. And like I say, I feel incredibly lucky to have lived like this, just for these last 3 years or so that I've had the boat, that even something like today, and well, like I say, these last couple of weeks, I've enjoyed just absolutely unbelievable weather and biking and walking and kayaking and all of these things, that it's sort of by shunning having a proper grown-up life in many ways that I've been able to do that. And the fact that I'm just here on my own, on my little boat and all that sort of stuff is how I can do it. But there's got to be a time, and I'm terrified of it, that comes to an end. And whether that's going to be when I'm finally in love with somebody and all that sort of sweet romantic stuff, that it's like, oh goodness me, I better get a bigger boat here, or my goodness me, no, don't make me have a rent or a mortgage. But you get the general gist of what I mean, I hope. That I'm not trying to say that it's bad to do those things, because it's obviously not, and it's the way that billions of people live, and it's absolutely fine, like I say. But at the minute, because I've managed to avoid that, I'm terrified of going into that. So whether I ever do or don't, just like I say, I've got no intention of like relinquishing my grip on a boat and this current sort of lifestyle. And like I say, just today, for example, I've been on the boat doing a bit of writing, recording a few videos, and had me walk around that then made me record this video. And it was literally just like move maybe about 100 foot up the back from the boat here, climb over a stile into the fields, cut across a few fields, go down to a little basin on the canal, and then walk back up the canal. Have a lot of filming as I was going, just to get it all recorded down in a video for a future upload. And there's just all of these random experiences, the tiniest things that I still absolutely love. And when I think how long now I've been walking and doing that on a regular basis, not huge walks up Everest or anything wild like that, just these little walks. And when I used to live at my mum's house in town, how just day after day after day sometimes I would be doing a 7.5 mile or so circuit up the little hill in the local area and back. And I've really loved it and really enjoyed it, and I still am at the minute. Now that I'm getting so much older and I'm still able to go out and do all this sort of stuff, it's making me sort of more worried and concerned about the time that will one day come when I can't, whether that's through other commitments and being a real grown-up in a real grown-up relationship with real grown-up responsibilities and so on, or whether it's through ill health or any number of things. As I say, you never know what's around the corner in life. Sometimes it's very, very good. Sometimes it's not. And you've just got to be prepared and know. So I'm trying to make the most of it while I can. And that's been my theme through all of these videos, basically. And ultimately, these are just the things that have been on my mind today, really. And the more that I think about other people in my own age group and people who are slightly younger that I know and what they're doing in their lives, I find it quite strange, because I almost feel like they could come and have a boat and work a few days a week and not have to worry too much about, like, well, basically just keep the cost of your living down and you can keep doing it. But if you have any serious incidents, then goodness me, everything's going to all go over the place and be an insane, terrible mess. But it's ultimately that thing of, I'm not sure though that I could go and do what they're doing. I don't know if I've got the basic confidence in dealing with people like person to person. There's some people who know me or have met me just in passing on the canal and like stop and talk, and I either have the option of being slightly awkward, which is how I am with most people all the time, just through sheer sort of like, oh, what shall I say, and so on. But then there's the opposite end where, as somebody down on the Montgomery Canal learned the other night, where I will just literally talk and talk and talk, just like this video, to sort of make up and make sure that there's no awkward silences. So there's just so many levels to this. And then obviously the actual skill sets of doing this job or doing that job that, again, I've completely sort of missed out on developing any of that sort of thing, of any sort of particular field of like industry or anything that I could specifically say, oh, you know what, that person's good at that, but I'm good at, nothing in particular. And I'm, like I say, it's difficult to really sum up this video because I could literally just keep talking about this sort of stuff forever, because there's just so much stuff that goes through my mind, like these sorts of thoughts and feelings, that I don't really know whether I think it's good or bad or what by the time I'm finished with it. And it's easy to go, oh yeah, look at this on a boat and it's brilliant, and I literally love this. I can't tell you how much. I mean, I've got video clips and photos that you'll be seeing in videos coming over May. I'm thinking I may well go straight for May being a 5 video per week month, just to try it out. But I've got plenty of videos and clips and things where you see Tilly from a distance or approaching from the towpath from behind, and there's just these moments where I'm thinking, I mean, only just before I was out just walking down the canal a little bit in that direction, and I looked back, and you might have seen in other videos so far that there's a bridge just at the back of Tilly, and it's like looking down through the bridge and seeing Tilly perfectly sort of in the middle of the bridge on the canal, and you think, goodness me, this is literally what I'm doing with my life. This is amazing. But at the same time, I'm not sure whether I should be doing quite so much of it. But like I say, got to make the most of it while you can, because tomorrow could bring something that completely fetches it all to a halt. Anyway, before this goes into too sort of depressing a theme, I think I'm going to wrap things up. I just want to also take a moment to clarify and just talk a little bit about this Patreon stuff, as there seems to be a few unhappy people. I'm sorry for this completely random interruption to this video, but I just wanted to say that what I'm about to say about all this Patreon stuff does go on and on and on, a lot longer than I realised when I was actually saying it. So feel free to skip the rest of the video if you wish. Anyway, I'll let you get back to it, because I don't want to hold you up anymore. Enjoy. The whole basis of it is it's entirely voluntary, and as I said and stressed in that previous video, under no circumstances am I saying I'm starting to charge for videos or that people should give me money or anything like that. But as you can imagine, there's been many people who've decided to not watch the video, assume the absolute worst, that I'm going to start charging for videos, despite the fact that within seconds of that video starting I say, I want to make it clear that I'm not charging for videos. I'm not going to start charging for videos. I just want to again reiterate that, because I look at it like this. Basically, I didn't expect anybody at all to sign up for anything on there. The fact that there have been a few people do it, it really does mean the world to me. But if you haven't, that's completely fine. That's literally fine. Why should you? You don't have to. You've never had to in the past, and so on. And I've literally got absolutely no problem. But what I do have a problem with is getting all sorts of messages and comments basically saying how bad I am that I'm starting to charge for videos when I am not starting to charge for videos. And that's been the thing that's really, well, like I say, I'm not even saying that people should go there and do that. But if they do want to, that's now an option. And thank you very much to everybody who has. But I just want to make it clear, I'm not charging for videos. I know that the people who jump to those conclusions and will write the comments and send me the messages and so on, are not the people who've even paid attention to watch that video for a moment. But also, hang on, and equally, they're not going to have watched this video to this point to actually hear this message. But I just wanted to say it for anybody who's interested. Like I say, there's no obligation. Oh yeah, by the way as well, just for anybody who has signed up, the monthly 1,000 word plus blog post will be online over there in the next 2 days. I'm not even sure what day it is that I'm recording this, and it's going live of Sunday, of course. But basically, the blog post will be on there very soon, in the next day or two, or maybe even if you're watching this, on there right now. So I hope you'll enjoy that as my monthly thank you to everybody. And I'll also be sitting down and writing my handwritten letter and wax seal it and so on. So I'll do a nice video on that for the people who supported me at that level. So just firstly, thank you all so much for that. But I did want to take a moment in this video to just say, please, I'm not charging for videos. I can't explain how much that is the opposite of what I am doing. I am saying that I am not charging for videos. So that's something that was one of those moments of like head in my hands and like, oh, what am I meant to do? As again, though, I think it's just the human nature of there's people who will support you in certain ways or not, and that's great. There's people who don't feel the need to, because you absolutely shouldn't feel the need to, and that's not what I want anybody to feel. But then there's always going to be people who just are waiting for that opportunity to have a dig at you. So moving swiftly on from that, I just wanted to say thank you very much to the people who have signed up. Please do consider it, as it is a huge boost just in morale and confidence, and extremely useful, as I say, in this current day and age of trying to live as cheaply as possible. Now that YouTube has literally become the biggest thing that I spend my time on, even more so than writing these days, and the biggest, well, for example, like I say, like the laptop to do these videos and do my audiobook that I know I'll never ever make anywhere near that money back on is basically bought entirely to do the audiobook, and now it's making these videos possible in such number, and videos that I couldn't do before completely entirely possible where they weren't, such as the 49-minute long super documentary episode that I did. And so it's stuff like that that literally cost me more for that laptop than all of my boat costs last year combined. So those are the sorts of things of why I'm keen to try and make YouTube a more viable thing for the future. And ultimately, like I say, I don't want anybody to feel obliged or anything like that. But if you do want to have a look at it and get the monthly blog post and so on, then please do have a look. But feel free either way. But thank you. And like I say, just thank you so much for actually watching these videos in the first place. So, moving on from that, I suppose it's time to do all the random plugs and properly finish this video. As I say, May is going to be the biggest month I've ever done on YouTube. I think I'm tempted to even try doing one video every single day of the month, but I think that might be pushing it from where I am at the moment, and particularly having to actually work a real job as well. So that's something that I hope that a lot of you will enjoy some of the videos I've got lined up. Feel free to subscribe if you haven't already. Feel free to check out my other videos for loads of boating and biking and loads of outdoors. I've got loads of walking and scenery coming up as well in the next month. As always, feel free to add me personally on Facebook and Twitter, or like the Facebook page for loads of boaty photos and canal scenery and general updates from Life Afloat. Feel free, I've got loads to plug now. Feel free to, of course, check out my books available for the Kindle. Just search Amazon for The Narrowboat Lad. All the links are there in the description below, as is the link to my audiobook. So please do consider checking that out, because if you haven't got an Audible account, then you can literally sign up on Audible for nothing, have a free trial, get a free audiobook, which you could get my audiobook as that free audiobook, and then cancel without ever having to pay anything and keep the book. So please do that if you haven't done it, haven't signed up to Audible, and have a look if you so wish. And really, now that I've sold out in such a great way that there's many people I'm sure out there waiting to send me an angry message and give me some grief about, as I say, please do consider checking out all of those things or just adding me on Facebook and so on. Until the next time though, keep it boat worthy, keep it, goodness me, talking worthy with this video. I'm sorry how long this has been. And of course, until the next time, have a fantastic day and farewell.